Right, today we have tidbits on the bigger iMac, right from the iMac Pro branding apparently not coming back, but it's also information on the pricing and what kind of price range we can expect this M1X iMac to fall into. And so let's delve into the reports, but first make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so the source of this information is the guys over at MaxTech. They've been contacted by a source that has no credibility, so take the information with a massive grain of salt. But anyways, the first thing they mention is that we're not seeing a bigger, more powerful version of the 30-inch iMac. So for some reason, a lot of people thought Apple was going to resurrect the iMac Pro and give us a device that falls in between the bigger iMac and the Mac Pro, much like the original. But I've always had an issue with this concept. Since the iMac Pro in the first place was a stopgap device, Apple made one in the first place because the Mac Pro project that eventually released in 2019 was getting pushed back, and so Apple had to give their prosumers a Pro machine for the time being, and that was the iMac Pro. But of course, now we have the Mac Pro, so there is no need for an iMac Pro, and well, Apple killed it off earlier this year, so yeah, I don't see that product ever coming back. Now yes, I know some of you guys might be wondering that if I think this, then why have I been referring to the M1X iMac as the iMac Pro in previous videos? Well, here's the thing, because while I don't think the iMac Pro as we know is coming back, I can see Apple resurrecting the iMac Pro branding. You see, my pitch was the $1799 27-inch iMac gets rebranded as the iMac Pro, because we have that distinction with the MacBook lineup. We have the MacBook Air and of course the MacBook Pro, and so I thought, hey, why not do the same with the iMac, because the 24-inch iMac is clearly focused towards consumers, but this bigger M1X version is going to be focused towards prosumers, and so it makes sense that Apple rebrands that iMac as the iMac Pro, and that machine can be for the pros. But of course, that does not mean it's going to be $5,000 like the previous model. It's going to be the same price as the 27-inch iMac. It's just getting a rebrand as the iMac Pro because it is a prosumer machine. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and I do still think there is a chance the bigger iMac could be the iMac Pro, but it seems MaxTech source disagrees with this and says that apparently Steve Jobs was a consumer guy, and so Apple's going to go back to focusing on consumer Macs, which I guess does make sense, but at the same time, I think that won't stop Apple from calling this the iMac Pro, because we do have other consumer products like the iPhone 12 Pro and the base MacBook Pro, which aren't really Pro, but they're using the Pro word anyways to of course differentiate it from the rest of the lineup. So I can see Apple doing the same with the bigger iMac. And of course the iMac Pro branding would work with the aesthetics of the machine, because I am expecting black bezels and boring colors with the bigger iMac, since Apple wants to visually differentiate the consumer and prosumer machine. And of course with the MacBooks, we're going to see white bezels on the MacBook Air and black bezels on the MacBook Pro, so I expect Apple to do the same with the iMacs. Anyways, the next thing this source mentions is that the entry-level price for this iMac should be $2,000 or under. Now this makes a ton of sense because the current 27-inch iMac is $1,799, and yes, I'm pretty confident we're not seeing a price hike with the bigger iMac, because the 24-inch iMac with the new design starts at the same price as the older 21.5-inch 4K iMac, and so it seems Apple can offset the cost of a new design with the savings they make with the Apple Silicon transition and the fact they're not outsourcing chips and everything is done in-house instead. And by the way, do remember we're not expecting mini LED on this bigger iMac. I believe there's been one rumor that has suggested it's coming, but they're not very credible, so yes, we have to assume we're not going to see mini LED on the bigger iMac. But of course there is an upside to the lack of mini LED, and that is we should not see any price hike. Now the next tidbit this source mentions is what's a little odd to me, because they say that apparently Apple increasing the screen size above 30 inches is going to substantially increase the price, and well, I doubt that's going to be the case. Because with all the savings Apple makes with Apple Silicon, I doubt increasing the screen size above 30 inches to maybe 32 inches is gonna cause constraints for Apple. I mean, Apple gave us a bigger screen on the 16-inch MacBook Pro without increasing the price, and that was during the Intel days where they were outsourcing chips, and so I doubt there's an issue with Apple giving us a 32-inch display instead of 30 inches with this new iMac. I mean, do remember the regular iMac is using an LCD panel, not mini LED. Now, of course, if we had mini LED, I would understand. Apple's having severe supply constraints with that component. Apple's invested a ton of money, and I know that producing larger mini LED panels is way tougher and more expensive. But of course, Apple's been producing regular LCD panels for years now, and so I don't think that increasing the screen size above 30 inches is gonna make this iMac insanely expensive. Really, the only justifiable reason why there might not be a 32-inch iMac is the fact the Pro Display XDR is that size, and I doubt that Apple wants their cheaper iMac to be the same size as their $5,000 monitor, and so I can understand for that reason why Apple might give us a 30-inch display, but it definitely has nothing to do with Apple maintaining a specific price. Anyways, those are the exclusive tidbits, but I do want to mention that Max Tech says that the bigger iMac could be releasing in early 2022, and I don't think that's going to be the case because we know that Mark Gurman has said Apple could be giving us an M2X in the bigger iMac, and he's also suggested it could release at the end of 2022. So I think Mark Gurman is right, and we're going to see the bigger iMac launch right at the end of the Apple Silicon transition. Anyways, that's everything on the bigger iMac, but let me know in the comments below, do you think Apple's going to resurrect the iMac Pro branding for the larger iMac? Anyways, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the icon above on details regarding the M1X Mac Mini. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.